Good morning. Good to be with you again this morning. And it's kind of a little bit of a rainy morning, but not terrible. It's supposed to be a nice and warm day here in Sudbury. And continuing to build on the four pillars of a healthy Christian business leader. The pillars are healthy relationships, biblical financial values, biblical spirituality, and balanced living. And this week I'm talking about balanced living. And the focus for this week, pillar number 4, is Jesus and time off. And I think you'll be surprised how much time Jesus actually took time off. Now, not time off maybe quite the way we think of time off, but still time away from the everyday. Jesus had a number of, what we might call sabbaticals, or, at least, maybe not a full day sabbatical, but certainly times when he would get away from the busyness of life. He went away to be re-energized through prayer, quiet meditation, and to spend time with some of his close friends. Jesus, like many of us, maybe didn't feel that he could just completely pull himself away from his responsibilities for a long period of time, but he certainly took time throughout the day or throughout weeks where he would take time away. So he maintained a rhythm in the midst of his busyness. And I think that's a good lesson for us. Sometimes when we think of time away, we think of, a 2-3 week vacation, or, sometimes even maybe a month away. And for some of us, that's, we say, I just can't do that. But having that rhythm where we say, I'm going to take time away throughout my week, throughout my day, and that kind of stuff. So Jesus, the title for today's talk is simply, Jesus took time off after a period of victory. So he'd had a great day, and now he took some time off. That's found for us in Matthew chapter 14, verse 22 and 23. And after the miraculous feeding of the 5,000, immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. Then evening came, and he was there alone. And so Jesus was having that alone time. Good morning, George. Good to have you here this morning. And Jesus was having that alone time. Again, Jesus had been working hard. And he had just learned about his cousin's passing. In fact, he'd gone to this place to get away from the crowd, but the crowd had followed him there. And so here he was, faced with being tired, grieving the loss of his loved one, and faced with a crowd that needed to be cared for. And Jesus teaches them and he cares for them. But now it was time for them to go and for him to have some time alone, to pull aside and come to a place where he could be by himself. Do you ever feel just drained and exhausted? You've worked hard. You're just done. Maybe, and I know COVID, of course, has changed that up a little bit, but maybe you just had a big event, and it went well, but at the end of it, you're just tired, and you're saying, man, I just need some time away. I just need some time alone. Maybe there's stuff going on in your family. Sickness, maybe there's other stuff going on in your family that you say, I just need some time alone to reflect, to think about, to pray about this stuff. Well, Jesus experienced that as well. And I think that's a good reminder to us that he experienced much of what we experience on a day-to-day basis. Now, what was his remedy? His remedy was simply to be alone, to take some time to be alone. Now, again, this was not a 2-week or a 3-week vacation where he went off and said, I'm going to be gone and turning my cell phone off and you won't be able to get a hold of me. It wasn't that. But it was some time alone, away from even his disciples, just where he was by himself. So here's the question. When's the last time you spent time alone? Where you just had the opportunity to say, I'm going to pull back from everything and I'm just going to spend some time alone. Well, today, my encouragement to you would be this. Consider taking time to be alone. even if it's just over your lunch break. You know, you have your lunch break today at work and you say, you know what, I could go and grab a coffee with somebody. I could go to the lunchroom and sit down with the guys. I could do that, or I could just go and find a place where I can be alone. Maybe that's what you need for today, and just for your own mental and spiritual health. So you know what, I need to take some time alone today. Or maybe it's tonight. You know, you just need to take an evening where you are alone. And I would encourage you to consider that. May we see the benefits of being alone. You know, so oftentimes we find that being alone, often I find that people are afraid to be alone, afraid to be by themselves, afraid to have to face who they are. And yet the example that we get from Christ is that after a busy day of hard work, he chooses to be alone, because that is what is going to be good for his soul. And may we learn that as well. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.